Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. In this video we're going to be looking at how you can use the COUNTIF formula to identify the number of occurrences and the occurrence number, should we call it, of an item or a number that's appearing in a list. We're going to be using the COUNTIF, or we're going to use it count and the COUNTIF function. If just to get yourself familiar, if you need a refresher or you haven't seen those our videos on how to use those functions, check out our previous videos. There's a part 1 and a part 2 looking at count formulas, and there should be links on the screen now or coming up very shortly. Do give those a check out if you need a refresher, or if you don't even know how to use the count or COUNTIF functions. Great videos, and then you'll be well prepped, ready for this one here. So why would you want to know the occurrence? So there could be many reasons, of which many escape my mind now. But one particular reason could be you've identified you've got some duplicates in a list, and obviously that might not be desirable, and therefore you might want to identify where the first, second, and third occurrences are coming from. Like, are they coming from different data sources? Or alternatively, if you have got duplicates in your list, and that's completely fine, and they should be there, by finding the occurrence, you can filter on just the first occurrence that it appears, what gives you obviously a distinctive list, or gives you a distinctive count if needed. And there can be many different reasons as well. But like I say, there can be many reasons why you need it, but we're going to show you now what you can do to implement it, and obviously what the result you get from it as well. So we've got some data here, simple names, or a list of names in column A, and you can see there's 4 different names. We've got Tom, James, Claire, and Amy, and they're just appearing multiple times in there. So as you can see, those are duplicates. What we're going to do is, firstly, in column B, we can just do a simple count formula. This might be something you want to do as part of the process of doing the occurrence, but like I say, it will show you just how it works. So to do count, or you will be using COUNTIF for this, we can see how many times each is appearing in that list. So let's just start doing a COUNTIF formula. We can select column A, as we know, and we want to just count it for the Tom in this instance. And we can see that Tom is appearing in this list for 4 times. And that's all well and good. And what we can do is, if we just put a little filter on there, and we go to Tom, we can see that Tom is indeed appearing there 4 times. But obviously each time he's appearing there, it's just going to give the value of 4, because all it's doing in each formula is counting how many times the name Tom is available in that list. And it's the same for all the other ones there as well. So if we were to take Claire, you can see Claire is actually there 7 times. But if we were to filter on Claire, again, the same situation is that all you're going to get is that value of 7 in each list. So the purpose of putting in the slightly different formula to identify the occurrence is we can see, rather than having that count value in each one of those, each reference, or not each reference, but each instance of where that name appears, what you'll have is a count of the first, the second, the third, all the way through to the total amount. And we'll enter that in here, and then you can see how it works. So what we need to do is, rather than just straight away count everything for each row based on the whole of the column, or the whole of the list in column A, we're going to do what you call a progressive range. So basically, as the formula in column C moves through the rows, the range in which it's going to be counting in will gradually grow. So firstly, what it will do is, in this very first one here in row 2, it will only have a range looking at, in column A, of A2 to A2, so it's only going to be looking at the cell reference. The second time it will look only at A2 to A3. The third, or the fourth row, will then be only rows 2 to 4, and then the fifth row will be 2 to 5, so on, all the way to the end. And what that will do is, because obviously as it expands, the formula about to identify the number of times the name appears in that range was obviously going to gradually increase. So hopefully that's not confused matters, but what we'll do, we'll jump the formula in. So in order to do that and to fix our range, we're just going to be using the dollar symbols, what allow us to fix a range. So it says, as we move, we want this range to stay the same, or this starting point to always be the same. So we're going to enter exactly the same formula as we did here in count for column B, the COUNTIF, but obviously using this method of the dollar symbols to enforce the starting point does not move and helps it increase. So let's do that. We're going to do equals COUNTIF and open brackets. Okay, so we always want our range to start, and this is probably a good way to demonstrate it as well actually. So let's say we just selected A2 to A2 and COUNTIF A2. So all we're doing here is just saying, we're not putting the dollar symbols around, we're just going to select, okay, this is the range we want to do, and we want to count how many times Tom appears in that range, and hit enter. As you can see, as we drag this formula down, the formula is always going to stay relative to the row it's in. So you can see for this first one, it's going to count A2 in A2, but as it moves down, it's just going to reference all where those rows are. It's only this second part here, the part what appears after the colon, that we want to be dynamic and to move with the row reference. And we want this first part here, the first A5 before the colon, to be fixed to always start in column A or cell reference A2. So in order to do that, if we go back into row 2, and all we need to do is you can either highlight A2 and do F4 on your keyboard, or you can simply hold the shift and do number 4, what will give you the dollar sign like that. And this is our slightly updated, but obviously this formula require. When I hit enter to that, and then drag that down to these first 4 examples we had here, you can see how we step through each one, that the first one is still looking at A2 to A2 in terms of the range to look in. But then as we move down to row 3, we can see it's now A2 to A3, and that A2 is always going to stay the same, so it's going to be A2 to A4 in row 4, and then 5 so forwards. And then what we can do is then pull down the formula, and you can see it's updated. And Claire is probably one of the best ones to look at initially. So we can see that Claire, the first time she appears is in 4, and the second time is in 5. And the reason we can pick up this first time, or the first actual occurrence she appears, is if we go into that formula, you can see it's only looking in that range of 2 to 4, so it's only going to count her as once. But when we go to the second occurrence of her, you can see that the range is now updated to just go from our first starting point to our current starting point, and she's now appearing twice, hence why we now get the second occurrence. And if we can go to filter to Claire, you can see now what we have is we've got column B, tells us the number of times she is appearing, and in column C we can now see the first, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, and the 7th time that she is appearing, all clearly laid out for us. And another benefit of doing this as well, as we went to the very, start at the very beginning, is if we wanted to get a distinct list, and we can now easily do that by just saying, okay, we just want to see the first occurrence for everyone. And there you go, that gives us just then our 4 names. The first occurrence that they're all appearing, so we've got a nice distinct list, so everything only appearing once. And for these 4, we've got a little summary here, so we can see obviously that Tom's appearing a total of 4, James 5, Claire 7, and Amy 3. We hope that was a really useful video. It's a solution we've used many times, what's helped us solve many problems, or just get the data into a quick way to be able to just do some real quick analysis or jump through it. If you did find that useful, please do give the video a big thumbs up, and also if you haven't already, please do subscribe to the channel and make sure to hit that notification bell so you get notified of all our new videos as they hit YouTube. As always, links in the description you'll find, or the first link you'll find is a link to download this workbook. So you can get this exact workbook in the format you now see, so you can actually dive into the formulas, give it a try for yourself, and obviously try some other scenarios if you think of them as well. Also in there you'll see links to our website and Facebook page, so if you haven't looked at those before, why not take a look now. Thank you very much, and we will see you in the next video.